All right, guys, we are back. So I heard part one, and I think it sounded way better than the previous one. So this time I actually lifted my laptop. I was thinking that maybe the mic was obstructed or something. So for sure, I got a little bit better sound. So I'm gonna keep going with part two. So we left off chapter two, part two, and we finished off the interest self test. I got B's. I don't know what you guys got. And I'm going to continue reading at set goals. Um, I do this for myself, but I saw some people started like following and asked for more. So I usually read along, listening to myself read it after I record it. So I do this for myself mainly, but I'm glad that people are catching on to it, and I'm glad that I'm able to help somebody. But yeah, grab a notebook, get some notes, and so you can do your activities. Set goals. After reading this section, you will be able to explain long-term and short-term goals. Do you have direction, drive, desire, and a dream? If so, do you have a reasonable idea of how to go about meeting your goals? Goal setting is the identification of long-term and short-term goals. When you know what you want, you can draw a circle around your destination and chart and best course to get there. By mapping out your goals, you will see where to focus your attention in order to fulfill your dreams. How goal setting works. When setting goals, categorize them based on the amount of time it takes to accomplish the goals. An example of a short-term goal is to get through an exam successfully. Another short-term goal is to graduate from barbering school. Short-term goals are usually those that are to be accomplished in a year or less. Long-term goals are measured in large increments of time, such as 2, 5, 10 years, or even longer. An example of a long-term goal is becoming a barbershop owner in 5 years. Once you have organized your thoughts, write them down in short-term and long-term columns and divide each set of goals into workable segments. Now the goals will not seem out of sight or overwhelming. For example, if you are a part-time barbering student, one of your long-term goals should be to become a licensed barber. At first, getting their license might seem to require an overwhelming amount of time and effort. However, when larger aspirations are divided into short-term goals such as going to class on time, completing a homework assignment, and mastering techniques, you would find that accomplishing each short-term goal leads progressively to the accomplishment of a larger goal. Remember to set feasible goals to create a plan of action and to revisit a plan often. While adjusting goals and action plans may be necessary from time to time, successful people know that focusing on their goals will move them towards additional success. Figures 2.4 and 2.5. So there's the example. So I'm just gonna read the example out loud. I'm gonna do it myself. I have a couple of goals that I'm gonna be working on. As I'm doing this reading out loud. I also have a few different things that I'm working on. So I'm gonna do it along with you guys. So it's got like little numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it says here, numbers, goal setting checklist, completion date, and then done. So these are like the little columns. And you have the different goals. Number 1 says read this chapter, action steps. Oh, so you take action, right? So that's cool. Part of setting a goal is making an action plan. So this one says read first part at lunch, finish it after dinner. That's a good idea. See, I kind of had to do that for this chapter because the reason I stall is because I hardly ever have, the full hour it takes to kind of read the whole chapter and do all these things. So I was just like, man, maybe I'll just split it up and I'll do what I can when I can. So that's cool. Number 2, practice speaking to clients in a pleasing voice. That's cool. Action steps. Do with family tonight. Oh yeah, for sure. And then you have the different dates. Number 3, create my own mission statement. Action steps. Review sample in this chapter. Write my own. Start learning trends. Action steps. Search online, read trade and beauty magazines. Make a 5-word trend list. Interesting. Number 5. Prepare to pass the Chapter 2 exam. Action steps. Review what I read, ask instructor any questions, have study sessions with 2 friends. Practice being on time. Action steps. Set alarm for 15 minutes earlier. Give self $1 every time I get to class 10 minutes early. Build my vocabulary. Action steps. Buy book or find website. Learn 1 new word a day. That's very noble. All right, so figure 2.5, you have a blank set of goals. I don't want to mess this book up because, somebody else could use it in the future. So I'm just going to write it down in my notebook. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. And then after that, I have the goals. I think one of the goals that I have for myself is execute 4 clients a day. And that's my number 1. And that's every day. So completion date is every day. Goal number 2 would be make sure shop is clean every day as well. Number 4, that was number 2. Number 3 is work on marketing. Number 4, exercise. Number 5, read slash study barber book. Number 6 is definitely help my daughter with homework and emotional intelligence. Number 7, I would have to say, what else? Oh, yeah. Practice better eating habits. So then execute 4 clients a day. I would have to say that I could work more on, and it's an action plan, I could work more on maybe making sure that I have those 4 clients booked the day before. So send reminders to clients about availability, I think would work. And maybe try to ask clients to book immediately after their next haircut. Try to book after service. I'll start implementing those 2 action, what is it called? Action steps. And then make sure shop is clean. So I would say that I just just keep myself accountable by just making it a routine. So for instance, I could kind of like link this up with marketing. Yeah, because the read. I could associate the reading with where I do I guess one after the other. So I'm gonna be working on the shop being clean as a daily practice. Immediately after I sent out my client's availability message. Okay, and then also, I could also associate cleaning with um, studying after study session as well. Number 3, action plan. Work on marketing. Um, so I'm working with my buddy DJ Ganzo, and we're setting up a plan. I have a few ideas. So work with 1800 records. Um, Number 4, exercise. Um, so I will be held accountable to go exercise tomorrow before I pick up my daughter to take her to school. So workout, and so if I have to pick her up by 7, I could do a 5:45 a.m. alarm. You have a membership, Planet Fitness, before NAMI school. All right, number 4. Number 5 is read, study book. So I'm doing like academic study, and I'm also doing leisure study. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of both. I'm thinking I'm gonna start reading that book out loud as well for practice. So yeah, during the week, every day after my daughter goes to sleep, I will attempt to do some reading for an hour. 1 hour of reading a day after Nami goes to sleep. 6, after school, we dedicate 1 hour to homework. Eating habits, okay. 6, 7. Practice eating habits. Practice healthy and better and holistic eating habits. So just basically as a goal, I'm just not gonna eat out anymore. It'll help me save a buck. And I'm not necessarily gonna be healthy, but at the very least, I know what I'm gonna be eating, even if I am eating chicken wings. So home cooked meals. I also made pretty good sopa de fideo the other day. Um, Everybody liked it. Pretty good cook. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to make a sopa de fideo. So yeah, that's my 7 goals. I'm gonna work on these execute 4 clients a day by sending reminders and trying to book immediately after service. Make sure shop is clean. I will associate the cleaning of the shop with study and marketing. Work on marketing. I'm working with Ganzo and 1800 Records on getting people into the shop more regularly. Number 4, workout at 5. Number 4 is exercise, and I'm gonna be doing an exercise routine before I pick up my daughter from school when I don't have her here, when I go pick her up from my mom's. Number 5, read or study book. Dedicate 1 hour of reading a day after Nami goes to sleep. Number 6, after school. Number 6 is help Nami with homework and emotional intelligence. So after school, we dedicate 1 hour to homework, and along the way, deal with the frustrations of homework, and for both of us, how to deal with pushing through and executing a task. And number 6 is, so yeah, that was it. Number 7, practice healthy eating habits by home cooking. So yeah, that's my example of goal setting for now and action steps. So I'm gonna keep reading. Demonstrate time management. Effectively managing. I'm sorry. Demonstrate time management. After reading this section, you will be able to discuss the most effective ways to manage time. Interesting. Effectively managing your time will help you reach your goals more quickly. Here are some ways you can be more effective at time management. Learn to prioritize by ordering tasks on your to do list from most important to least important. When designing your time management system, make sure it will work for you. For example, if you're a person who needs a fair amount of flexibility, schedule some blocks of unstructured time. Never take on more than you can handle. Learn to say no firmly but kindly and mean it. It will be easier to complete tasks if activities are limited. Learn problem solving techniques that will save you time and needless frustration. Give yourself some downtime whenever you are frustrated, overwhelmed, worried, or feeling guilty. You lose valuable time and energy when you are in a negative state of mind. Unfortunately, there may be situations where you cannot get up and walk away. To handle these difficult times, try practicing the techniques of deep breathing. Just fill your lungs as much as you can and exhale slowly after about 5-10 breaths. You will usually find that you have calmed down and your inner balance has been restored. Have a notepad, organizer, table, or any other digital application accessible at all times. Make daily, weekly, and monthly schedules that show exam times, study sessions, and any other regular commitments. Plan leisure time around these commitments rather than the other way around. Figure 2-6. Schedule helps keep track of your commitments, exam times, study sessions, work shifts, and so on. Make daily, weekly, I already read that one. Identify times during the day when you are energetic and times when you want or need to relax. Plan your schedule accordingly. Reward yourself with a special treat or activity for work well done and efficient time management. Do not neglect physical activity. Remember that exercise and recreation stimulate clear thinking. Schedule at least one block of free time each day. This free time will be your hedge against events that happen unexpectedly, such as car trouble, child care problems, helping a friend in need, or other unforeseen circumstances. Understand the value of to-do lists for the day and the week. These lists help prioritize tasks and activities, a key element to organizing time efficiently. Make effective time management a habit. Employ successful learning tools. After reading this section, you will be able to demonstrate good study habits. Having a successful career as a professional barber begins by employing key learning tools while in school. To realize the greatest benefit education can provide, commit yourself to doing the following. Attend all classes. Arrive for class early. Have all necessary materials ready. Listen attentively to your instructor. Take notes. Highlight important points. Pay close attention during summary and review sessions. When something is not clear, ask for clarification. If you are still unsure, ask again for assistance. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Everyone learns in their own personal, unique ways. Your study skills should utilize the methods or tools that will help you absorb and retain new information. Learning all of the study skills available will help you find what works best for you and makes valuable use of your time. Repetition. Whether you repeat information in your head, say it out loud, write it down, or practice it hands-on. Repetition helps your short-term memory secure a firmer grasp on information, making the information easier to retrieve when you need it. Organization. Organization can be used to process new information for both short-term and long-term memory use. If a new topic seems particularly overwhelming, categorize the information into smaller segments. For example, rather than trying to learn about all the layers of skin at once, study and learn about one skin division at a time. Mnemonics. A mnemonic is a device that helps you remember or recall information. They can be words associations, acronyms, songs, or rhymes, or any other form of memory trigger that helps you to recall information. Word associations. To promote better long term memory, try to associate new information with prior knowledge. by using word association techniques. For example, the outermost layer of the epidermis is the stratum corneum. It is also known as the horny layer because it consists of tightly packed cells that are similar to an animal's horn or hoof. The outer cells are continually shed and replaced with new cells from the underlying layers of the epidermis. In this example, corn in corneum rhymes with horn, providing an easy way to remember both technical and alternate terminology. Using word associations can be helpful for remembering most information, but be sure to create associations that mean something to you. Meaningful associations will assist you in actual learning the material and make it easier for you to retrieve from your long-term memory when you need it. Acronyms. Acronyms are created by using the first letters in a series of words. Imagine, dare, expand, achieve, idea. Very nice. Figure 2. For example, the function of the skin can be remembered by using the word shapes, sensation, heat regulation, absorption, protection, exertion, and secretion. Shapes is a particularly good acronym because the skin also gives shape to the body. Songs or rhymes. Songs or rhymes do not have to be complicated. Something as simple as keep the air moving when blow drying to prevent burning the client's scalp, or rock and roll rotting creates a spiral turn. To illustrate a rotting technique can be effective reminder during application procedures. Visual study skills. For some, the need to visually lay out thoughts, plans, and ideas is key to retaining information. For these learners, the more visual study skills of mind mapping and note taking can be effective learning tools. Mind mapping. Mind mapping is a method you can use to create a visual representation of your thought, ideas, or class notes. Here are some basic guidelines for mind mapping a topic. Figure 210. It's very nice. Write the main topic or problem in the center of a piece of paper. Think about the topic and allow your ideas to flow. Write down a keyword or idea that comes to mind. Use lines to connect the keywords to the main topic. Expand on the keyword by creating new connections to additional thoughts or information. Use color and symbols to highlight important information. Figure 210. Mind mapping skin divisions. So you see that. Yeah. So everybody could do. I actually just made like the whole wall in my living room into like a big chalk calendar. And it's not the same thing, but I'm just kind of like trying to give each day for the next couple of weeks a little square where it works like a calendar and I could have like goals sets and things that I've executed as a reminder. And that's the first thing I see in the morning is that huge wall. I'll share a picture of it next time. Or maybe I'll just show it in one of these videos. So I'm going to read this figure 210. So epidermis, also known as cuticle scarf skin. And then it shows a little arrow. 4 primary layers are, and it explains the 4 layers. And then before that, it's the skin. So the skin's technical term is, or academic term or scientific term is epidermis or cuticle scarf or skin. Then there's 4 layers. It explains the layers. And then there's a little thought bubble with a question saying, do we need to know all 5 layers of the epidermis or only 4? What do we have to know for the test? And I think this is associated to like what you're going to ask the teacher, I guess. And then the 4 primary layers. Then under that is another arrow with another bubble or oval dermis, aka derma, corium, true, skin, cutis. And I guess that's right under the skin. So the epidermis is the skin. And right under the 4 primary layers is the dermis. So it shows you that in this the mind map. And then after that, there's another arrow shooting to 2 primary layers of the dermis, which explains what they are: papillary, reticular layer, and then another arrow down, subcutaneous tissue. I'm sorry for my pronunciation. English is my second language, aka adipose tissue, whatever. And another like little question: should we consider adipose tissue as the third division of the skin or as part of the dermis? And it's a pretty good example. I can't really think of any problems that I'm trying to, or anything that I can do right now at the moment. But if something comes up, I'll do an exercise and I'll share it in a different video. Taking notes. Taking notes. Note taking is a valuable skill to develop for studying and working in the business world. Effective note takers listen carefully and pay attention to verbal cues that alert them to important information. When taking notes, listen and watch for these cues. The speaker emphasizes words or phrases. You hear a directive such as "you need to know" or "you might want to remember." The speaker uses definitive words such as "main" or "first" that provide the importance or the order of something. If it gets written on the board, it is usually important. Although most of us develop our own way of taking notes, here are some general tips to get you started. Remember, you need to take notes in a way that makes sense to you and that will help you make the most of the process. Develop or select a note taking template that works best for the way you like to organize new information. Date and number the note pages for easier organization when you need to review them. Listen carefully to lesson introductions and summaries. Use keywords or phrases to identify main points. Use complete and accurate sentences when the instructor says, "You need to," when the instructor says, "you need to know," or "this is important," or when technical definitions are used. Use marks or symbols to emphasize important words, definitions, and so on. Use symbols, pictures, and diagrams to create visual reminders or to illustrate a concept. Use colored pens or highlighters to emphasize important points. Remember that every effort you make to follow through on your education is an investment in your future. The progress you make with your learning will increase your confidence. In fact, when you have mastered a range of information and techniques, your self esteem will soar right along with your grades. Practice ethical standards. After reading this section, you will be able to define ethics. Ethics are the immoral principles by which we live on and work. In a shop setting, ethical standards should guide your conduct with clients and fellow employees. When your actions are respectful, courteous, and helpful, you are behaving in an ethical manner. Practice ethical behavior in the barbershop by employing these 5 professional actions. Provide skilled and competent services. Be honest, courteous, and sincere. Avoid sharing clients' private matters with others, even your closest friends. Participate in the continuing education and studying and staying on track with new information, techniques, and skills. Give clients accurate information about the treatment and products. Professional ethics. To be an ethical person, you need to embody the following qualities. Self-care. To be helpful to others, it is essential to take care of yourself. Try the self-care test to assess how you are doing. Integrity. Maintain your integrity by aligning your behavior and actions to your values. For example, recommending products that clients do not really need is unethical behavior. On the other hand, if you feel that a client would benefit from a certain product and additional service, it would be unethical not to give the client that information. Figure 211, self-care test. The self-care test. Some people know intuitively when they need to stop, take a break, or even take a day off. Other people forget when to eat. You can judge how well you take care of yourself by noting how you feel physically, emotionally, and mentally. How are some questions to ask yourself to see how you rate on the self-care scale? Do you wait until you are exhausted before you stop working? Do you forget to eat nutritious food and substitute junk food on the fly? Wait a minute. Number 1, let me just answer these questions. Do you wait until you are exhausted before you stop working? No, I don't. Number 2, do you forget to eat nutritious food and substitute junk food on the fly? I often do, yes, and I cannot deny that it happens more often than not. Habits and trend break. Number 3, do you say you will exercise and then put off starting a program? Usually I'm good on cycling. I just got my bike back, but I was off of that for a while, and it's usually my only form of exercise. But for the most part, I don't exercise regularly, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say I do put it off. Number 4, do you have poor sleep habits? I do not. I sleep fairly well. Number 5, are you constantly nagging yourself about not being good enough? Happens sometimes, but for the most part, no. I feel pretty good about myself, even when I feel bad. I still know that we gotta do things, we gotta take care of ourselves. Are your relationships with people filled with conflict? Some yes, but I would have to say that I execute enough relationships well enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm all right. I acknowledge I don't get along with everybody, but I do get along with some people, and it's cool. Number 6. No. Number 7. When you think about the future, are you unclear about the direction you will take? Yes. It's getting better though. I've learned to be more specific on my searches. Do you spend most of your spare time watching TV? Not anymore. I did that for a while. So no. Although strangely, I'm watching myself on TV. Number 9. Have you been told you were too stressed and yet you ignore these concerns? Pretty good at ignoring myself and stress. 10. Do you waste time and then get angry with yourself? No. No, I do not. Write this out. It says here 5 points for each yes. 5, 10, 15, and 20. So I got 20. So I'm just gonna read the chart and the scores. Um, Score 5 points for each yes. A score of 0 to 15 says that you take pretty good care of yourself, but you would be wise to examine those questions you answered yes to. Don't be lying to yourself, is what that says. A score of 15 to 30 indicates that you need to rethink your priorities. I sure do. A score of 30 to 50 is a strong statement that you are neglecting yourself and may be headed for high stress and burnout. Reviewing the suggestions in this chapter will help you get back on track. Professional ethics. So we did figure 211, the self-care test, but we're still in the middle of professional ethics. We just read integrity, and now we continue on to discretion. Do not share your personal issues with clients. Likewise, never breach confidentiality by repeating personal information that clients have shared with you. Communication. Your responsibility to behave ethically extends to your communications with customers and coworkers. Be aware of what you say and how you say it. Also, be conscious of your nonverbal communication, such as facial expressions or body language, which are just as important as verbal communication. Develop a positive personality and attitude. After reading this section, you will be able to list the characteristics of a healthy, positive attitude. Barbers interact with people from all walks of life, every day, all day. It is useful, therefore, to have a sense of how different personality traits work together. Refer regularly to the following characteristics of a healthy, positive attitude. Diplomacy. Being assertive is good because it helps people understand your position. However, it is a short step from being assertive to being aggressive or being bullying. Take your attitude temperature to see how well you practice the art of diplomacy. Diplomacy, also known as tact, is the ability to deliver truthful, even sometimes critical or difficult messages in a kind way. Pleasing tone of voice. The tone of your voice is a personality trait, but if your natural voice is harsh or if you tend to mumble, you can consciously improve by speaking more softly or more clearly. Another technique is to smile when speaking if it is appropriate. Smiling will help the tone of your voice, so practice it when speaking in person and when talking on the phone. Emotional stability. Learning how to handle a confrontation and how to share your feelings in a professional manner is important to building emotional stability and control. Sensitivity. Being sensitive means being compassionate and responsive to other people. Values and goals. Values and goals guides our behavior and give us direction. Receptivity. Be interested in other people and responsive to their opinions, feelings, and ideas. Receptivity involves taking the time to really listen to others. Also, be open minded and willing to work with all personality types. Effective communication skills. Commit to practicing effective communications through active listening, nonverbal and verbal skills. Review questions. What principles contribute to personal and professional success? How do you create a mission statement? Give an example. How do you go about setting long term and short term goals? What are some of the most effective ways to manage time? How do you describe good study habits? What are some learning tools you should use while studying? What is the definition of ethics? What are the characteristics of a healthy, positive attitude? Um, yeah, this is a pretty long one. I'm going to read the chapter glossary because why not? Ethics, the moral principles by which we live and work. Game plan, the conscious act of planning your life instead of just letting things happen. Goal setting, the identification of long term and short term goals that helps you decide what you want out of your life. Mind mapping, a graphic representation of an idea or problem that helps organize one's thoughts. Mission statement, a statement that establishes the purpose and values of which an individual or institution lives and works by. It provides a sense of direction by defining guiding principles and clarifying goals, as well as how an organization operates. Mnemonic, any memorization device that helps a person recall information. Organization, a method used to store new information for short-term and long-term memory. Perfectionism, an unhealthy compulsion to do things perfectly. Prioritize, to make a list of tasks that need to be done in order of most to least important. Procrastination, putting off until tomorrow what you can do today. Repetition, repeatedly saying, writing, or otherwise reviewing new information until it is learned. Self-actualization, fulfilling one's full potential. All right, stay tuned. I'm actually gonna do some review questions for the next couple of videos, and I'm also gonna share the WTTW segment that they did. Channel 11 over here in Chicago did on the shop that we opened up, and yeah, man, check it out. Stay tuned. I will do more. Thank you.